Hey, you. Good morning and good day to you, wherever you are. And thank you for um, subscribing, as they call it. I don't really feel all that comfortable with the term of that, but I've had a few people join the Trinity 4 channel the last little while, and that's kind of nice and reassuring, or helps me kind of realize that there's something positive and useful to add to the conversation. Um, it's quite early. I feel a little kind of exhausted after yesterday's session down at Hyde Park at Speaker's Corner. I went on a little longer than I normally do, and I messed up with my phone. I didn't. I wanted to go live and stuff like that, and anyway, I won't belabor. But I will say that when I arrived there yesterday, this guy who learned about the flat Earth from us down there, he'd been there last week and stood with me over my chalk drawing. This week he brought his own chalk, and he's talking to the Muslim community. I mean, he's talking to everyone, but he's able to talk to the guys in Arabic and or whatever. And that is a transition that I knew had to come. You know, that there was going to have to be a time when we started to talk to the biggest crowd down at Speaker's Corner these days, which is the Muslims. And I mean, as a former Christian, I understand how it is to come at this whole flat Earth from a biblical standpoint, an Old Testament standpoint. And I first went back to the Bible when I first found about the flat Earth. But there is the sort of Quranic verses and that talk about the flat Earth. Well, I don't know them, but they're coming out of the woodwork now. And the way that the Quran or Islamic leaders are going to play this is, a bit like how are the Christian leaders going to play this? Are they going to just sort of eventually bite the apple and go, yes, well, heck, it turns out the Bible's right after all. So come back to church and pay your 10% and don't think for yourself. And if that's true, then of course the Islamic crew will do the same thing. They'll follow the same lead. So I want to try and get the conversation ahead of that. That like for me, that I was able to go, okay, I see that there is a huge amount of connectivity to the biblical story, and certainly the way they wrote it back then, they obviously couldn't bamboozle people into thinking they lived on a ball. They hadn't even come up with the idea, really. The first globe was only invented 500 years ago, so if the Bible is written when they say it is, then the whole idea of a ball was nonsense. No one seriously would have thought that. They were smarter enough back then. Anyway, so I think that for me it was about learning that there's a lot of truth in the Bible, but just because they were able to talk about the flat Earth back in those days doesn't make the Bible all right, and it certainly doesn't exonerate the religious leadership, the Vatican and others, from their part in obviously covering this shit up, because we all know that they gave us the Big Bang, the Vatican did, and we all know now that, it's so provably flat that they had to be conjuring up certain things to ensure we never found out. That's why they were very much behind whatever was going on in Nazi Germany and whatever transpired in America, even though they may do things from an arm's length and not visit a place or whatever, or pretend to have some sort of fallout with them. So I think that's that. Let me not go on too long. I just wanted to say that it was really cool to see all that Islamic energy coming in there. I mean, obviously the Islamic dudes, some of them, the guy was saying to me, some of them are really grateful and they're getting it. Others are just like we see in the European crowd, totally lost in this. Now yesterday I had a few characters that kind of push my buttons, because I'm maybe not like the best um, as like a debater, because I don't have like patience for ignorance. I'm patient if necessary. I'm patient if people haven't had the, a young person who hasn't had the chance to learn. But if a young person comes to me and they're all like arsey with me, I'm like, what the fuck, kid? Don't be fucking coming here arsey. The school is open, You've come here. You don't go to your school teacher and go, oh, when the school teacher says, I'm going to swing this bucket of water around and that's going to mimic gravity. I know I was one of those kids that said, well, so the string and the bucket itself, those things are what is gravity. Those two hard things are what is a concept of dropping an apple on the floor. No, but it's not long before you kind of eventually shut up and you're not talking about that stuff anymore. So I get a little bit kind of crabby with people, and I'm not proud of that. I feel a bit shit when I kind of react like that to people, because it's only the programming that they've got, and it's the same with someone who's programmed into one religion or a different religion. It's just programming. Different egos, different, reasons why people will be more kind of belligerent and in your face and go, wow, bullshit. You go, look at these examples of where it doesn't match with what we're told, the common sense thing of water being flat. And you give them examples of the Suez Canal back to back, and how do you explain that? And they'll just jump over that as though you've not said anything at all. Let me read that out, saying, sheeple snoring, but it's never boring. Hi, Dave. That's P900. Hey, bro. How you going? Where this boy outpouring his heart. He's off the chart. Come in, take his part. Let's make a start. Let's lace the stream with flat earth art. I like that. Saying you're very good at that, man. A wordsmith. But yeah, let me tell you that getting in front of people having people in your face. And, part of my story is that 25 years ago, I worked on the door of a very rough nightclub. And I, for like a year, got involved in a lot of fights. And it kind of changed me in a way. That kind of quickness to aggression is something that comes from that. Because you're always under threat, and every night, at least a few nights a week, there would be fists flying and more, sometimes guns even involved. I got stabbed one time. It's bitten by a dog, like one of those guard dog type dogs. So it was quite a crazy time, but it certainly changed. There's a part of me that I need to manage through this process. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there, because it's not really cool, and it's really not cool, and I'm really not proud of that. I don't want to be, a negative to myself and to the flat earth and to the humanity itself. So I just want to put that out there and say that I'm working on that. That I accept that people don't have to get this. Of course they don't have to get this. And I accept that they can get so annoyed with me for trying to tell them this truth that they might want to call me stuff or be sneering. I get the sneering. You may not see that on the camera, you may not catch that on if you're watching footage, but when you're standing in front of someone and they're fucking sneering at you, and they're a child, or there are, there's adult children, there are adults out there, 50, 60, 70, 80-year-old children, so trapped in their belief system, like my father, that they can't look you in the eyes and go, wow, this guy's sincerely trying to deliver me something completely at odds with everything that I've heard, but being delivered in a, hopefully in a rational way, in a concise way, in a clear way, that should give me pause for thought. You know, when I first found that the people questioning the flat Earth back in early 2015, there were so few people talking about it. It took me months to go, hey, maybe I'm losing my mind. Maybe I've really missed something glaring here. But now there's enough people talking about it. There's enough energy on this that even if you've heard it, laughed at by some TV troll like Russell Brand or some other ignoramus that's wheeled out to cast spells on you, well, I say, you've heard about it. Now you're standing in front of an intelligent-looking human being who's saying there's some glaring things wrong with what you've been presented. Go look again. And they just want to stick in their little belligerent, slow mindset. I wouldn't be able to take the sneering. We'd be acting the same way. A few days after they drink. Sorry, I missed Tasty Week. Morning, all everyone in the world speaks. Thank you very much, Tasty Week. That's kind of you to say. It's more that the program does work. They say that some people will come under what do they call it, the hypnotist's kind of spell much more easily than others. But it's an interesting thing, now that you know what you know, guys, we're already being hypnotized. So when you go to the hypnotist and he hypnotizes you again, what kind of state is that? Because you're in hypnotic state already. This is how we've been living. And then they hypnotize you yet again. It's an interesting thing to discuss or think about. But it's true. Some may, I don't know. And Zane, like you were saying, after doing, because I've been doing this for a little while now, I've had to say the same stuff many, many times. And so from my perspective, I start getting a little bit jaded by having to say the same shit. It's almost like you're speaking to the same classroom moron time and time again, because you've got this dude coming at you, sometimes a lady but girl, but a dude coming at you with one of 5 questions or one of 4 points of view and it's like, whoa, I've already met you, I've already explained this to you. So it does get a little bit kind of tiresome in that way. And I was thinking to myself, I wonder if there's yesterday I was thinking there's a finite amount of time that a guy like me can do that kind of street activism where you're talking to the brain dead. I mean, there's so many people that are actually looking you in the eye and actually taking something away from him. So I don't want to make it all about the belligerence. I guess it was more about me wanting to share that I'm not happy with myself losing that kind of that more calm way of delivering this information, that more reasoned way of delivering, because I do look like I'm getting a little bit crazy, and if I'm a crazy guy isn't really one that's going to convince people to check their paradigm and review everything. Interestingly, I'll sometimes go, okay, this isn't really working. People are not wanting to hear that water is flat and the earth doesn't spin. So I'll bring them something else, which is to try and shake them awake, to say, hey, you don't know much about what's really going on if you don't know that 9/11 wasn't done by the Muslims. And they'll go, what's that got to do with anything? I've looked at that, but it's not really, oh my gosh. If you're still believing what you see on the TV, because that's, if you've looked at 9/11, then it's the TV, National Geographic, maybe a science magazine of some sort, but it's as controlled as any other. Yeah, Tasty, that's right. No, that's right. I think actually, what you raised there is Speaker's Corner is different to street interviews. People go to street Speaker's Corner looking for a fight, or just to troll you. absolutely have that, and you're absolutely right about that. And I think that the flat Earth has started catching a few people's attention. And I think this is what we were seeing with the Muslim crew yesterday, was that they've noticed us now, and we have Muslim speakers, so they'll listen to them. I'm going to say we, the guys have, Muslim dudes have woken up or waking up, and they're starting to do what we've done. So I think that's going to bring a whole new dimension of that, and it is interesting. But I think, even though that's kind of shit for someone like me to maybe to deal with, there are people who are better than that. They don't get riled up in that way, and they can keep their kind of deadpan thing going. Fantastic. Because sometimes when I hear people asking me, like, the repeated dumb question, I'm like, I wish this was being filmed, because when thinking people out there hear those questions, they go, hey, is that what the crowd that I'm associated, the ballers crowd that I'm associated with think? Is that what they think? Like the woman the other day who said, she's a young lady, said, yeah, well, I said, so you can show me an example of water conforming clean to the outside of a shape, to a ball and stuff. She's like, yeah, well, if you put water on a ball, some of it'll drip off and some of it'll stay on the ball. I said, like that damp little amount that's kind of just going to be damaged off because of surface tension, clinging. Yes, that's it. And other ballers are standing here, but no, that's not right. She's not right about that. So, Zane, right on. I understand it takes a toll on you as well. John Smith does a great. Harry is fucking like what's the word? Goliath. The way that he just keeps going on. It's amazing. Yeah, there's a good. Oh, and keeps his cool. Yeah. No. I know. I like having him around, actually, because around me when I'm doing this, because he is like a calming influence, and he'll sometimes come in and ask the belligerent, the interested question, and it'll kind of take the sting out of where I'm at, because I'm a bit fiery, a bit passionate, a bit too passionate. No, there's nothing wrong with passion, but anyway. So P900, cool piece. I wish I had access to a P900 sometimes, man. And when people talk to me about the planets, the other planets, I'm like, look at them tonight, man. You'll see a star. You'll see what looks like it, just like the other stars. Yes, they might move independently, but they're a star. And I would like to see them through a P900 myself. You can't unhear what you're telling them. All you can do is... They can't unhear, yes. Yes, I gotta go. Just keep being you, Dave. You're doing a great service. Thank you, brother. Thank you very much. Wandering Stars. Thank you, man. Thank you, Trent. Tasty wheat. That's very kind of you to say. Tasty wheat. Trinity has the skills to engage all walks of life and the intelligence to get through to most other intelligent people one-on-one. Good thinking is almost unstoppable. Thank you. Yeah, well, we'll see. I'm yesterday seeing that crowd of Muslim dudes, awakening. And I think actually the annoyance that we see from people, the pricking of the bum that this is doing for some people, and them going, ouch, what the fuck? I think that is actually it gives energy to the flat earth, truthfully, because they are going to go to the pub on a Friday night and after they've had 3 or 4 beers, be, what the fuck are those retarded, moronic, fucking shouldn't be breeding retards talking about the earth being flat. Oh, we know our science is cutting edge. We've never been smarter. Look at my phone. My phone could take you to the fucking moon if it wanted to, but it doesn't want to. It could fly under the earth if it wanted, under the ball. Some guy said to me yesterday, I said, so we've never been, north-south under the pole. Oh, but we don't need to. Why do we need to do that? Oh my God. It's like, why haven't we been back to the moon? Oh, we don't need to. So 60 years ago we went there. Today we should be able to go there for a visit. Oh no, but what's the point? Okay, so but that lends itself to the credence of the idea that, we didn't go there and we can't go there. Otherwise, common sense dictates we would pop there regularly. And it's the same is true with the Antarctic. All we've got is a footage of some extreme conditions and guys who claim to go a few hundred miles on the ice shelf and say they've achieved something. Well, none of that is trustworthy. So I'm not accustomed to talking here for too long. I just really wanted to unpack a little bit of stuff from yesterday. It was really exciting. I think next weekend is going to be even more exciting. What with that energy that's going on, and with there being a fairly large contingent of humans who know they don't live on a spinning ball who will be attending. So I hope to be there, and I hope to see others there. I'm just eating some of my red cabbage leaves. These are my tomatoes, by the way. This is my little home grow that I've got going on here. Let's see if I can find a little bit of breakfast. I do like eating them straight from the. Oh man. They are. The smell. I really that tomato smell, which is why if you can, you buy them on the vine, eh? But thankfully I got these because we've run out of money. Damn, these are good. I'm so chuffed with myself. This is cosmos growing behind me. It's just a memory of my mother, one of her favorite flowers. But I had a little bit and some mini corn here, which actually this one might be ready. I could probably take this one off. Hey. Mini corn. These are baby corns that are pretty cool. Obviously I won't be eating that like that. Anyway, enough of your time wasted. Have a super day, and I am grateful, very, very grateful. And I'm waffling here, but I started this little channel because I thought that I finally had something to contribute to the conversation. So I want to continue doing that. I'm grateful for people coming along and hearing some of what I have to say and so on. I don't want to take that for granted. I don't want to take your interest in what I have to say for granted. I don't want it to be about me, although I do want people to know who I am, because it is about me being like a real person in order to be real in contributing, because that's what we want. We want real people, evidentially real people who are not hiding shit and so on. I mean, we all have a past, we all have a history and stuff like that, and some people may want to point fingers at things that I've done in the past or whatever, but that's okay. I think we judge each other by our fruits, what we bring to the table now, and the kind of people that we are now. And I know that I lived in Sodom and Gomorrah land, as I describe it. I lived in that time and in that place where other things of this world, as they say, were more important to me than that spiritual kind of richness that we're meant to seek as emissaries or fractals or droplets of God or the Creator. I think God is a loaded word, isn't it, really? So, and I like the idea that we can connect to Mother Nature in a way that we can't connect to anything else while we're here. You know what I mean? So this kind of is the representation of the Creator. Hello. So I just want to honor that and honor you. I don't take it for granted. I don't take anything try not to take these things for granted. But I'm super grateful that a few more people have taken notice, and I hope to do the movement of human consciousness and the evolution of our thinking, our group thinking, I suppose, and the individual, but ultimately the group thinking of humanity, such that we are not going to always have to be in this Darwinian struggle, this cycle of scrabbling, forced and required to go to do things. Like me, I did 2 years of national service, for example. I had to do that by law, apparently. You know, that's all nonsense. That shouldn't be how it is. And it shouldn't be that we have to fight each other and steal from each other in order to kind of get ahead, get jobs, and get that status that we're so much required to have. So that's hopefully what I can do for myself and for my family and my wider family, and just be a light, like a little light, you know. And the bigger the corn grows, the bigger the light grows, and the more people can feed from it. And if you let the corn dry out, you'll be able to plant a whole field of more corn. Anyway, that's enough. Have a great day.